What's up, everybody? It's Jackrabbit here. Me too, but it's past my bedtime, so I'm gonna go lay down and let Jack talk. Thank you, LJ. Yes, it's past LJ's bedtime, but we're gonna talk some AEW. No, AEW didn't just ended when I recorded this. It's like 11 o'clock, but I decided, you know what? Something so hilarious happened that I gotta talk about it, and it involves a favorite of the channel, Chris Jericho. Okay. Well, at the beginning of the night, AEW literally started off with a bang with a parking lot brawl. A literal brawl. So it starts off with, because I want to talk about this as well. I'm not going to talk about everything, but so it starts off with Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley fighting in the parking lot. Okay. And then, of course, you know, all the other Death Riders show up. So it's, let's see, Marina, Mox, Cardio, Pac, because he was here, Yuta. It was like a 6-on-1 fight. Yeah, Daniel Garcia. Yeah, I think I got everybody. It was a 6-on-1 fight. Yeah, that was not good. Ospreay, you need some backup, buddy. Well, I get it, because they threw him towards an SUV that came in. And he kind of does a little superhero pose and pauses for a minute. Like, what the heck is going on? And this chick walks out. Apparently, it's Alex Winters, who is apparently Will Ospreay's protege. Not protege, sorry. That's another one of the members. Fiance. There we go. That's the word I was thinking for. Wrong word, Jack. What do you expect from me? Anymore, I screw up like that enough. Okay, and then 3 other dudes come out. And, well, the announcer said that, they said their names, I don't remember. One of them is the youngest ever IWG World Heavyweight Champion at 23 years old. And that's young to be a world champion in wrestling. Let's be honest, that is young. God, I think Randy was still closer to his late 20s when he was world champion. I do believe. Don't quote me on that, but... So, and apparently this is the United Empire. Well, minus Alex Winter. I think she just came there to back up her man. But the rest are technically United Empire, which is the group, if you remember, before Will Ospreay came into AEW, he was the leader of. From what it sounded like, he's not the former leader, which they did call him a few times. It looks like he still is. He just had to go pick up some help because his other United Empire stablemates decided to be little douchebags and go hang out with a bald-haired dumbass. Sorry, I don't like Don Callis. But okay, so... And then everybody started brawling. Of course, the 2 girls brawled together, of course. And, you know, they bounced around who the guys were fighting with. And they ended up booking a match for the end of the show of United Empire versus the Death Riders in what they called Chaos in Canada match. It was basically a no rules crazy brawl, which was awesome. But okay, we'll get back to which was won by the United Empire, since I might as well finish talking about that. Okay, so during about the middle of the show, Chris Jericho, well, they said Chris Jericho was going to come out to speak about his new contract. So he comes out, has the contract in his hand with a typical black AEW clipboard we've seen I don't know how many times. And he's talking about his new contract, how he's happy to be in whatever town they were in Canada, playing a babyface role. Which, I like my Jericho babyface. Because after a while, when he's a heel, he just gets annoying. Except for one time. But I'm not going to say what that one time was till I'm done here. So Ricochet and his buddies come out. The Demand come out. Talking down to Jericho. First playing, oh, we respect you. And then, of course, turning into the heel, pain in the butts that they are. They were like, don't sign the contract. We don't want to hurt you. Blah, 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 blah. And Chris Jericho goes and says, oh, yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, I don't care what you say. Signs the contract, of course. He's like, and there's a clause in this contract. I get to pick whoever I want to be my opponent at Dynasty. Okay. Obviously, that opponent's not going to stay in mystery for very long. Some dum-dum had to interrupt his contract signing. So, first he made a joke that, mind you, during this entire segment, Chris Jericho, once Ricochet came out, had me rolling. At one point, Ricochet takes his hat off. He's like, man, you really are bald. All right. And he said, and then, of course, he talks about all of his options to pick for his opponent. And he's like, all right, I got to think about it. Turns around for a second. He's like, all right, I thought about it. He's like, hold on a second. I might be a little rusty on this. I haven't done this in 10 years. And okay, at this point, I'm thinking 10 years. 10 years. Chris Jericho, something in wrestling. My brain, sorry, because my brain's terrible, goes to thinking ladder match or something. But no, it wasn't that. It wasn't like a ladder match or anything. And then he runs down Ricochet again for his tracksuit for being bald. If this feud continues, that's probably going to be a continuous thing. And he takes off a piece of something that was on the clipboard, and it was like a purplish color, and it said Jericho. So he goes, clicks his pen, and I might have got some things out of order, and holds his pen up for a second, and did you just made the list. Yes, so apparently Jericho is going to go back. Well, I don't know, maybe this was a one-time deal. I hope not, but hopefully this is him bringing back the List of Jericho gimmick, because that was hilarious when he did it before. And it'd be funny if he continued it now. And he's got a whole slew of new people to put on the list. MJF, Kenny Omega. Do I have to go on? MJF. Because I want MJF on the list, because he's MJF.